All right, so I got time. I guess I'll react to some cringe real quick. As you can see on screen, this is pretty funny. So the Kabrutus Rambo person, he is the guy who is the founder and owner of DEI Detected, and I believe that he made a claim that Sweet Baby tried to dox him or expose his information or something like that. I don't know the full details and specifics. All I know is that he's kind of an invalid fraud because he said God of War Ragnarok was quote unquote woke or whatever, and he never played the game. As the usual behavior you get with grifters, like you ask them questions and then they turn invalid because they never actually experienced the whole experience or journey. So it's not like some of these people don't talk out of their ass, but you know, their fanboys will co-sign everything they say. I'm sorry fam, I'm going gloves off with this one. I'm not playing kid gloves. I don't give a fuck. All right, these people are terrible to media discourse, and this is no exception to the rule. We're fucking ranting about statues now and the way they look. We're talking about statues, how thick their thighs should be, how their fucking midsection shouldn't be bulging out. This is a fucking background statue that has probably no other bearing on the game itself other than being there as a piece of Stonehenge fucking piece of geometry in the background. Like, I do not get all this shit where people are like, oh, statues need to reserve its femininity and it has some sort of hatred now, and because of things going on in the Western gaming industry is making me unexcited for the game coming out. Wasn't the Legacy of Kain, Soul Reaver, isn't this game like super highly revered? People wanted it back for years. Do you see all these people except you whining about a fucking statue in the background? I'm sure there's fans that's like, holy shit, this franchise somehow has been remembered, and it's cool that they showed it as state of play. I actually want to play it. I haven't played Soul Reaver myself personally outside of just the small little 5-minute snippet that I acquired from the demo, but that was a long time ago. What if I want to re-experience the game again? I would be happy because they haven't done anything with this series in so long. If your argument is we're talking about the thick thighs of a statue, something you're probably not going to look at for more than 5 seconds before you leave the area, what is the argument here? What is the point? This is not even a main prominent character, and we're ranting about fucking statues in a video game. It doesn't even matter. This is one of those things where it's like, and I know people hate when this is said, but this is one of those things where it's like, it's not that deep at all. It really isn't. It's not that deep at all whatsoever. Like, you know, over a fucking statue, I would be worried about how the main character looks or how the side characters look or how the NPCs look over the fucking statue, where you're not gonna pay attention to it for far too long. You're gonna fucking try to solve the puzzle, leave the area, and that's it. Like, who cares at this point? This is like a big nothing burger to complain about. And again, this guy being the invalid person that he is, we're talking about someone that judged God of War Ragnarok at face value and then said he didn't play the game whatsoever. Should I take him seriously? Should I take him anything more than a grain of salt? No. Next up is Ghost of Yotei. So that was a fun little drama and controversy, right? People losing their fucking minds because there was a female protagonist that was revealed in the game. They were worried about modern day identity politics in a game that was set in the, what is it, it's set like all the way in the past, dude, near the Sengoku period, I believe. I forget, the Edo period, or one of those, right? So you're worried about modern day things in a game that's set like long in the past, and I think people tried to tie this with the voice actor. Look, here's my opinion on that. I said this before, I said it again. If Erika Ishii wants to block people that are grifters that like to harass people, go around, make smear campaigns, and have like just a field day of 1,000 comments of these minions in the quote retweet section, then I mean, at that point they're being 5 steps ahead. their activism has nothing to do with the story of the game whatsoever. I saw people say this in comments as well, saying, oh, she's a main writer or whatever, and my response was, okay, prove it. Where's the evidence that she is writing this game, that she is directing this game, that she is a creative director? Even a voice actor came out and said himself, you know, there's really no credence to a voice actor having like creative writing control on a game unless they are probably like a executive producer, like maybe Ryan Reynolds. Like, he acts as Deadpool in the movie, but he's also a creative producer who writes. So I said, prove this, show me some evidence, show me something. Nobody could say anything when I said this. That means that you probably pulled that right out of your butt and you could not prove it. So I mean, until you show me that, I don't think there's any need to get worried. And if she is an actress, the main thing that is really important to her role in the game is to do a performance. That's it. If the performance is bad, that's one thing, but a fucking actor having writing credits, like, you need to show me this information. If you don't, then you're talking out your butt. And there's the other option. If you don't like the actress, play on Japanese, switch the voice track to Japanese. I'm sure they basically grandstanded this when they were talking about Ghost of Tsushima 1 and saying, oh, we have a fully voiced Japanese track for the people who love this stuff. We have this whole black and white filter, Kurosawa filter, shit like that. They were propping up those features. Like, switch it to that and just be done with it. If you don't like the actress in English, I don't understand. We haven't heard a lick of this character. We haven't seen a lick of this character. This guy Emion is a fucking idiot because of course he grifts. It was funny that the lepers were trying to eat his face when he said something positive about Dragon Age Veilguard. So I thought that was hilarious. When you conform to a perpetually angry audience and you're not angry at one point, of course they're gonna get on your ass. But he says Ghost of Tsushima sequel stars a Japanese woman samurai warrior because of course it does. They can't help themselves until every franchise that was built on masculinity is replaced by women. Even though in the storyline, if it wasn't for Yuna, Jin probably wouldn't be the ghost. And I thought people liked Lady Masako, so I mean, in the last game people did like some of the female characters. If we go back even further, Infamous First Light was done really well. Ghost of Yotei hopefully is a smaller spin-off game, but if this is a true sequel and this is the new main character over Jin Sakai, fuck that. I'm so sick of the forced girl boss narrative, man. How do you even know this? Like, again, I'm asking the questions here. How do you know there's a forced girl boss narrative if this character happens to be cool? You don't know a lick of the writing, you don't know a lick of the story. When people say there's gonna be like modern day politics in Ghost of Yotei, then where is this coming from with a game set all the way in the past, like near fucking the Edo period? I don't understand. I think a lot of you are overreacting. Of course, you're thinking that voice actors are writers now with no validity, no evidence whatsoever. When I ask you to prove this in the comment section, you don't, which is funnier. It is stupid. It's fucking stupid logic. Like, okay, prove this, right? When you guys try to tie in Sean fucking Layden, a guy who used to work for PlayStation, making this statement. Now, when he says, if you don't like it, don't buy it, I don't think that is a positive PR move. But here's the thing, you guys are talking about Sean Layden and PlayStation, a guy who has been gone from PlayStation since 2019, right? Sean Layden, he doesn't work for the company anymore. Do you think they currently support his views? No. No. And why are you trying to tie this together? Like, if he's not there anymore, he doesn't work for the company, then it's not a current problem with PlayStation. It's not like a PlayStation employee came right out that works for PlayStation now and is saying, don't like it, don't buy it. You're talking about someone that left the company in 2019. It is fucking 2024. There is no correlation with Sean Layden anymore and PlayStation other than the fact that he used to work for the company, and that's it. He is not representative, he is not indicative of PlayStation in 2024. So I need people to also understand that there is nothing generally wrong with a female character in a video game. I would say some of my favorite games like Tomb Raider, Bayonetta, all based on badass female characters, and I enjoyed playing as them. It doesn't fucking bother me. They can make a great story out of this game, and the reality of the situation is, for Ghost of Yotei, half of you people talking, you don't know anything about the plot, you don't know anything about the characters outside of their initial sort of reveal and presence in their faces. That's it. You don't know anything, all right? Fucking like, she killed some random bandit in the trailer and that's it. Some faceless guy, that's it. Okay, what story can we glean from that a bandit got killed by another Ronin in the fucking story? Like, there's nothing for you to talk about with this whole forced girl boss thing. If anything, what they're doing is they're taking Ghost of Tsushima and they're making it into a meta franchise. They're trying to make it into an anthology franchise, just like Assassin's Creed. And logically, it's the smart thing to do, because you can make many male and female characters in an anthology franchise, just like Assassin's Creed. Oh my fucking god, a lot of brain rot and idiocy that people have when they don't think outside the box and they have a narrow-minded viewpoint is staggering. I wish people would have critical thinking skills. I wish you people would actually be intelligent, but no. If you think outside the box, this is great for the franchise. Like, I think one of the main things they can do is, if they love Jin Sakai so much, they can always come back with another story for him. Like, think of it like Assassin's Creed 1. We got to see Altair again when they decided to make that an anthology franchise. We got to see Ezio again when they decided to make that an anthology franchise. What makes you think that Sucker Punch can't do anything of that nature going forward in the future? You have a present day reactionary, narrow-minded mindset if you think that they can't do anything of the sort. And for people thinking they're disrespecting Jin Sakai, like, again, I think you have valid opinions for missing Jin Sakai. I miss playing as the character as well, but again, if this is an anthology franchise, they could pay tribute to Jin Sakai. Maybe Atsu is related to Jin Sakai. If they respect the lore, then what's going to happen is, if you play the game, you're going to have egg on your face if it is written well and say, oh, this is beautiful, they made a tribute to Jin, oh shit. And then imagine if they make this into an anthology franchise where the possibilities are endless, and you could do something like AC, Assassin's Creed, where they revisited Ezio in the future, and future games and spin-offs and standalones. They revisited Altair after the first game. You guys are not logically thinking outside of the box. I mean, once this happens, then your whole facade of this game is going to be trash, the story is going to be trash, is going to crumble. And that's what we're waiting for. We're waiting for that logic to come into fruition or not when the game comes out in 2025. Either way, I think this shit is fucking hilarious. A lot of fallacies going on, a lot of false equivalents, bad correlations, bad faith arguments all around for Ghost of Yotei. I think the game is going to come out, speak for itself, and if it follows like any of the, you know, on par quality of the original Ghost of Tsushima, then a lot of people are going to be very either in denial, or they're going to cave to FOMO, which is something I expect at this rate, and nothing different, because a lot of people don't want to avoid great games if they see great games, and it doesn't even matter if there is a female protagonist. Again, a lot of people played Tomb Raider 2013, a lot of people played Stellar Blade recently, surprisingly, like, you guys like to defend Stellar Blade. Now, I said on record, I didn't like Stellar Blade, and it's not because of the female MC, it's just because I don't like the gameplay. But once again, that was a game that had a prominent female character, so a lot of you dudes like jumped to the defense force and jumped on the train track there, and that game went over well by you guys. What is the problem now with Ghost of Yotei having a female protagonist again? And once again, it's like, if you're worried about the voice actor, switch it to Japanese. It's not a problem, bro. You can play the game in harmony. I don't understand. You have the options and tools available. Why won't you take them? Again, nothing burgers, shallow arguments, shallow points. I think the game is going to come out and is going to go relatively fine. And all this bad media discourse about unreleased games, check yourself at the door. Like, it needs to stop. Like, seriously, think before you cross the road and you get splattered by like a truck or something. Like, come on, man, this is common sense. You look both ways before crossing the fucking street. All right, at this point of the video, this is the last portion, and we're gonna talk about Spear Hunter. And I don't like Spear Hunter opinions. I'm not a fan. I unfollowed like long ago, all right, because I believe Susie likes to get on her schizophrenic soapbox and talk about how the state of the industry is. I'm not buying Silent Hill 2 remake, Bloober team, whatever. It's like, of course you can have that opinion, but it continues further. A fan said, so I presume we won't be hearing anything from you on the future RE remakes and Metal Gear Solid Delta, etc. And it's like, probably not. And the guy said, I'm confused. I thought you liked the recent remakes of RE4 and Dead Space. Has your opinion soured over time? And I said, true, there's the archive. You know how Susie likes to make those thumbnails with the hearts all over them, Resident Evil 4, you know, I like this, I like that, right? It's like, what has changed? Now, I know a person's opinion can change over time and it will morph and they'll get a little bit disillusioned. But, you know, as I told this guy and I said, all right, now people are gonna take Susie to task. And what I mean by that is, if you are not covering future RE remakes, if you're not covering future Konami remakes, okay, we will take you to task on your word. What's going to happen is that, to explain where some people are coming from, if this is true, then her position should hold water for future tense. If we see a bunch of videos that got love hearts all over the thumbnails, I like Code Veronica remake or something like that, hypothetically, Dino Crisis remake, if anything like that happens, then it is a hypocrisy. And also, I wouldn't want to say that the industry is full of remakes either, showing that I disagree with this logic, especially for Capcom. We had Kinisugami, we had Monster Hunter Wilds for a sequel, Street Fighter 6, RE9 is in development, Pragmata, etc. The list goes on for new Capcom games or sequels that they made and are personally making. Ultimately, when people get performative on Twitter and they go, I'm anti this or anti remake that, some people are going to go, all right, bet, I'm gonna bookmark this just to make sure that your virtue is being stood on. And I think there's absolutely no issue with people wanting to know if your word holds weight. If you are anti-remake now, don't fucking talk about Code Veronica remake. If you're fucking anti-remake now, don't fucking talk about Dino Crisis remake. But I believe that this is not gonna hold weight and you're gonna end up like flip-flopping, maybe FOMO or something like that, and then people are gonna say like, look, I thought you said you're not talking about this stuff anymore, what happened? All right, it's very hard when you see people stand on their convictions and stuff like that, and this is going to be taken to task. It's no problem with people doing that. You're saying it out loud. No one is ever brave enough to stick to their beliefs online. Yes, people were really annoyed that Bloober is making Silent Hill 2 remake, but the fact of the matter is that it exists at all and is enough for modern consumers to blindly consume it, even if it conflicts with their morals. Like, and some guy said, I didn't know you were this dumb, because, you know, people changed their minds with the initial trailers and they showed the last few gameplays where they listened to the feedback of the people. The trailers look way better than the first combat trailer, which they showed, and the fact that you're calling them blindly consumers, like blind consumers, goes to show how stupid you are. And I pointed this out because someone sent me this little nugget here of Susie talking about Soul Reaver Remastered, saying this is extremely exciting to me. I love Cain and Razel so much. Once upon a time I was a scholar of this game's story and would annoyingly tell all of my friends all about it all the time. I'm glad I could do that again, but now for you guys. What the fuck is this? This was 3 days ago. 3 days ago, fam. All right, like, okay, and now you're saying stuff like this. Let me see if I can find it. And now you're saying stuff like this in response, so we won't be hearing anything from you on the future RE remakes, MGS Delta, etc. Probably not. It's like, all right, we know you're covering the Resident Evil stuff. Let's be honest, like, let's keep it a buck. This is just performative stuff because you don't like the Bloober remake, and I think you could have specifically said, I'm not getting Bloober Team's Silent Hill, but everything else I don't mind playing. Like, fuck that shit. Like, be honest at least, you know. Be honest with those specifics here, because people are gonna probably hold you to task if that's the case, like they're doing now. Like this screenshot of people saying, oh, this you, here's Jesse and Dead Rising remake. Oh, this you praising this, giving this love and attention and positivity. Oh, this you talking about the RE4 remake in a defending fashion, saying, oh, the internet, they don't need the RE4 remake, they have this reaction, oh, I don't need the RE4 remake, blah blah blah. And then Capcom's like chainsaw parry, and then they change, like, thank you Capcom. It's like, and then the heart symbol, thumbnails, and all this other stuff that you've bought up in the past. Just come off it. Like, you're gonna play these games if the FOMO hits, and it's just, it is what it is. All right, I think you should be taken to task, and they should see if your integrity stands. If not, then, well, I mean, what you said about not playing future remakes is probably a hill of bullshit, and it needs to be called out like it is, and it is what it is. I don't think remakes ruin the industry, especially on Capcom side. Like, Capcom might have revitalized remakes, but they're still making original IPs. And are you talking about those games a little bit more, supporting those games a little bit more? It's not just Alan Wake and Signalis, it's a lot of other games out there that could use that recognition, right, that you're covering, like the Bloomhouse games and the stuff they're doing with horror. Like, if you're gonna perform, if you're gonna be like so performative, then you should be covering those too, or acknowledging those. It can't be just all Resident Evil, right? Like, come on, man, you can't bullshit a bullshitter. All right, Susie, you're gonna talk about this stuff in the future if it excites you. It is what it is. And I don't think that getting all grandstanding on Twitter, like, Susie made a tweet that, like, literally made my eyes roll. I'm gonna find it for you guys real quick, just one more before I close off. Here it is. I found it. So it says, I love posting controversial gaming tweets and watching people go insane, and then one day later posting a selfie and watching everyone go, oh my god, marry me. Maybe this logic applies to, like, the simps, the simpletons out there, the simps of the world, but I don't think that logical, critical people of your logic are going to see a selfie and go, huh, you know, my whole outlook has changed. No, if you're not playing remakes anymore, then don't play fucking remakes anymore, and a picture is worth 1,000 words, but it's not going to change my mind. And then no one is ever brave enough to actually stick to their beliefs online. Yes, people were really annoyed that it was Bloober making it, but the fact that it exists at all is enough for modern consumers to blindly consume it, even if it conflicts with their morals. Susie, real quick, aren't you a consumer of remakes? Don't you have, like, remakes of Resident Evil being played and analyzed and talked about with a lot of views on your channel that benefits you? Susie, what are we doing, Susie? Now, granted, I agree with some of this. I think there are going to be people that fold and play Silent Hill 2 Remake despite shitting on it constantly and saying a bunch of bad stuff, and they will fold to reviews and stuff like that in FOMO, but you will also fold to the reviews of future Resident Evil remakes and stuff like that, so you're kind of being hypocritical in that logic. I believe that the modern remake is supposed to be a healthy medium for the casual and hardcore person of the world. It's supposed to have the aesthetics of the original game, the story of the original game being hopefully expanded upon. I'm not saying there aren't bad remakes or bad quality features in some remakes, but it's supposed to expand on things and help things out and streamline things while making the gameplay feel a lot more pertinent to modern day, making it feel updated, making it feel refined and fresh, where you're not like having 6,000 fixed camera angles in your face or anything like that. It's supposed to be a healthy medium where the modern consumer and the hardcore can jump in and have a fun time. I think you're being overly critical, probably because of the Capcom Shield allegations. Look, I don't give a fuck about what people say with me and Capcom. I like Capcom modern day. They make great games. So what? Embrace it. Be who you are. But you don't have to be performative just because you don't like a Bloober Team remake. You can avoid it and not bring up all this overarching, overblown, over-exaggerated jazz of saying that remakes cripple the industry and that people should have like a bigger love and preservation for classic horror games and newer horror games. I support all that stuff, by the way. Are you going to like cover all the Blumhouse games with their indies, their indie horror games? Are you going to do that? I want to see that. If you're going to make some performative change, then it should reflect on your channel. But knowing you, the Capcom stuff gets the views, so of course you're gonna cover these RE remakes in the future. I'm making a bet now. You are not going to hold up to the standard at all. I think you're not gonna hold up to it, and I think if you are going to talk about this stuff, if they make a Dino Crisis remake, etc., you're gonna make some bullshit excuse, or you're going to ignore it completely, like this tweet never existed in the first place. Anyway, my name is Renegade Operative. I am signing out. Hopefully you guys had fun of me reacting to the cringe and cringe opinions. Oh, excuse me. I really need some water. Cringe opinions. Cringe. It's the end of the video anyway, so it's fine if I fuck up, but I'll see you guys next time. Later.